Welcome to What the Health? Where anything health is fair game as we tackle the trends and bust the myths about health and wellness. Here are your hosts, Dr. Dan and Angela Toro.
And welcome to another episode of What the Health. I am Dr. Dan here with my co-host,
Angela. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me get the little disclaimer out of the way here. You guys know this by now, but we are here for informational purposes only. We're just going to have a discussion on health, in no way offering individualized medical health advice. Always talk to your trusted healthcare provider before making any changes to your health. Although I don't think anything we're talking about today is overly dangerous. So.
I don't know. In today's day and age, right? Someone will find it offensive.
Somebody will find a way to... That is very true. But so today, talking about something, we're heading into the season here where I think we all need a reminder on this. So we're talking about gratifying gratitude, being grateful for gratitude in our lives. So
yes, we were going to call it attitude for gratitude, and I was like, oh, that's so overused. But anyway, you should have an attitude of gratitude. But
it's just so catchy.
It is. Yes. Attitude of gratitude. Anyway, why should we be grateful?
Or even start with, what does it mean to be grateful?
There you go. There's the question. So, Angela, what does it mean to be grateful?
Because I think, especially when you talk about having an attitude of gratitude, I think people often think, oh, like one of those people, you're going to be positive all the time, happy all the time, you're going to just spit your coffee out.
I've been blamed by family members for seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. I'm like... Thank you. Like I think that's supposed to be. It was said as an insult, but thank you.
So people confuse gratitude with positivity. Positivity, I think, is more of a personality trait, and it is certainly something you can work towards. But attitude of gratitude, you can be the grumpiest person on earth and still have an attitude of gratitude. And that's, now again, one of the benefits of it is it does help psychological health and mental health. So you might kind of notice yourself become more positive as you practice gratitude. But no, it absolutely does not mean I'm walking all around all the time with a big smile on my face and that everything's great and wonderful. And I'm just, I'm so happy for everything. And nothing bad ever happens, because bad things are going to happen. Yeah. It doesn't mean that pain doesn't happen, suffering doesn't happen, grief, loss, all of these things happen. And it doesn't mean that you can't experience those emotions. Yeah. It doesn't mean you have to say, oh, this really bad thing's happening to me. Oh, but it could be, but it could be so much worse, but I still have, it doesn't mean you can't experience those bad things and, and work through them. But really what it means is just taking the time to, again, reflect on what you do have, reflect on everything that you do have in life. And, even in the worst of times, there's something, especially in this country, we have so much to be thankful for.
Abundance.
Even in the worst of times, that's, I saw something the other day that, somebody posted that I really liked that was like, oh, I'm just sitting here thinking about how blessed I am, how grateful I am that, I can go to the grocery store and buy whatever I want and need. I can turn the heat on whenever I need it, the AC on whenever I need it. The fact that I have heat and AC, the
hot showers.
Yeah, hot showers, just things, you can go.
First world blessing.
Exactly. And how many times have people gone and opened the fridge and said, oh, there's nothing in here, but really there's
nothing to eat.
There's just nothing to eat. No, there are people who literally have nothing to eat.
No, I'm just lazy that I want to prep whatever's in food. I'm too lazy to take it out of the refrigerator, put it on a plate.
Where's my home chef that can come and do this for me? So that is the idea of gratitude. It's not comparing yourself. It's not saying, it's looking at what you have and being grateful for it, whether that's, a little thing, a big thing, or everything in between. It's just taking a look and truly starting to, from an inner point, recognize that. It's not, it's not just going around and saying, oh yeah, I'm glad I have this, I'm glad I have that. It's that feeling. I was talking about this on one of my PSAs recently. We probably have all, hopefully everyone's experienced it at some point, where somebody does something for you that is just so completely unexpected, whether it's really big helps you out in a difficult time, or something as small as, you come home and dinner's cooked, or somebody, just somebody goes out of their way to do something for you.
Someone brings you a warm cup of coffee.
Yeah, a warm cup of coffee. Something that's just so unexpected that like maybe you didn't even know you needed, and it just hits you like right in your chest. It's almost like, it just, that's gratitude. That's how I picture it. It's that feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm so appreciative of this that I actually have a physiological, response to it. Yeah. And that's, and the more you practice it, because it truly is a practice, or you'll hear people talk about rituals, gratitude rituals, practice. I like the word practice. Ritual to me sounds like cultish. I don't know. I like the word.
I knew you were going to offend someone on this episode.
I like the word practice personally, but I'm a more sports mindset person. I guess I like practice. But yes, so that the more you practice it, the more you'll start to recognize that, and the more you'll start to get those feelings. Some people, again, kind of more naturally recognize those things. Some people need to work a little bit more on it. But overall, it's something we are all capable of it. All humans, short of, certain people with certain mental emotional diagnoses, are capable of that gratitude and that appreciation. So it's something that I think is so important. We were taught from a young age. I think it's so important for kids to be taught from a young age to appreciate things. And coming up on Thanksgiving here, we always would go around the table and say what we're thankful for. And I think about that all the time. It's like, why do we only do that at Thanksgiving? Why is that once a year? That's that could be something, again, that could be daily a practice routine, that could be part of your daily routine. And but ultimately, that is what gratitude is. It is that true, deep appreciation for what you have in life, or where you are in life.
Yeah, I always look at it. You said like you feel it in your chest. Like I always feel it, like and I call this connection to Holy Spirit, connection to God. Like if I get chills up and down my spine, or down my arms, like that is a recognition that something, very special, spiritual is happening at that moment. And, to be tuned in. And again, that's something that I was born, we're all born with that, that chill factor. But again, a lot of us aren't, understanding of what it is. We were very blessed to, come up in a faith-based household. So, I think we were probably a little bit more in tune to it than others. But, over the years, it's like, again, it's recognizing that. And it's like, okay, wow, what did that mean to me? Someone says something, or I read something, you get the tear in your eye, like, and the older I get, the easier it is for me,
You just let it come,
yeah. We joke about grandma all the time.
Crying over the.
Oh my gosh, our grandmother. God bless her. She's 90. She'll be 91 in February, and the woman cries, but it's a joyful cry. Like it's it's just she just feels the Spirit through her, and every little someone says something nice about her, or
she gets a phone call from her sister.
She gets a phone call like we're saying goodbye at the end of a meal, or it's just like, and not just like, it used to be, maybe a little sniffle here or there, but probably the past 2 decades since she's turned 70. I mean, just like full out, face wash of tears running down her face. And then of course she gets her daughters going, and so they're all, and again, I've hit a point in my life where I'm like, stop it, Grandma, you're getting me worked up. So, but it's just that, it's a reflection of like, wow, we have so much to be grateful for. And, and again, I think in America here, we're just so freaking spoiled with blessing and overabundance. So we get numb to, all the distractions of like everything in our life. And again, we're constantly comparing ourselves to our neighbors and, that person has more money. They got a nicer car. They, they seem to have their house more together. Or they got this and that. Or they're taking nicer vacations. Like we get into this comparison mode rather than like, wow, what do I have in my life? And if you're struggling, I get it. There's a lot of people who financially are not, as well off as other people. I know there are people struggling, but if you're listening to this, and you're hearing this right now, that's a blessing. You're hearing the fact that you have your hearing. You woke up this morning. You took a breath. You've taken hundreds of breaths since you woke up this morning and continue to take those throughout the evening. And it's like it never stops. Your heart's beating, you're digesting your food, maybe enjoying a cup of coffee. Like you are experiencing blessings on a moment by moment basis. And sometimes it's just a matter of stopping and reflecting. What is it that you're experiencing right now?
I think it's interesting. We both have now mentioned comparisons, and there's an article that I've referenced a lot over the last couple of years. It's a couple of years old now, but it's 7 scientifically proven benefits of gratitude. And so they basically put it together a compilation of some different research over the years. And one of them is that it improves self-esteem. And by way of essentially decreasing that need to compare, because again, sometimes people get stuck in just like we compare and we look at people who have more than us, sometimes people feel like they have to find people that have it worse to make themselves feel, that's not gratitude. Again, that's still comparison, versus gratitude is I'm just going to sit here and look at what I have. I almost put the blinders up. It's like, it doesn't matter. No one else is here. And what do you have, what is something good about today? That, hey, the sun's shining in Pittsburgh in November. I am beyond grateful for that. It's going to be 70 degrees. And I mean, it's, truly. And anyone who lives here knows that is truly something to be grateful
for. That's very grateful in November.
Yes. Any time of year, really. But it's putting up those blinders and truly just looking at you, and again, and connecting with yourself and your life and being present in your life. And when you get into that habit, it, one, stops the comparison with people who may have, and I don't even want to say more, a different life. Have a different life.
The grass is always green.
Have a different life. Stops you from comparing to them. Stops you, it can stop some of the pity party you may be having if you're not where you want to be. And it lets you, again, if it improves that self-esteem, that's going to help put you in a better position if you're trying to get, improve your life in some way or another. Anyone who's struggled with self-esteem knows if you're in a bad place, if you have no self-esteem, you're not going to make it very far. I mean, I know I've struggled with it through my life. And when you're in that place, I mean, it's hard. Yeah, it's dark. It's a dark place. So the fact that just having that gratitude practice can really help with that. And what I thought was really interesting too,
just real quick though, then like you said already, the more you practice it, it's like a muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. And that way, when you do get into those dark places, because we all have times when we go through, loss and suffering is abundant in this lifetime.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And so when you when you are faced with, I have a friend of mine who calls it the tsunamis of life, when you're smacked with a tsunami, right? Loss of a parent, loss of any loved one, a massive illness, a financial crisis, loss of a job, like whatever the case may be. You're ready, you're prepared for it. But if you haven't been practicing it, then you're like, that's when, then the vicious cycle and the spiral can start.
And that's one of the other things that it helps with is mental strength and that resilience. Because again, you're better able to, again, it's not to say that you're not experiencing those bad times or those hard times, but you're better able to not let them consume you, and you're better able to get yourself through them, handle them. They found that actually it was gratitude is a huge part in overcoming trauma, because we all know, there's very different ways that people respond to trauma. So having that resilience built up, that practice of gratitude, and again, just like anything we always talk about, it's easier to get in a healthy practice. It's easier to be healthy your whole life than to try to correct disease later.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very much the same thing with gratitude. It's easier, start doing it now, start doing it today. Don't wait until you're in that dark place.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to, because it's absolutely, when you're there and you're stuck in it, if you're trying to start your gratitude practice, it's going to be a lot harder versus if you kind of get yourself and, when you're in sort of that maintenance mode, or maybe you're in a really good place, that's a great time to start it. Or if you're just sort of in that kind of day-to-day chugging through life, start it now, because then again, when the inevitable bad times, dark times, tsunamis of life hit, you're able to kind of process that and get through it a little bit better. So yeah, it's really interesting that it's not just a mental thing, but also physically it has so many benefits. And it's just, there's so much more to it than just, okay, I'm just going to be happy all the time, because it's not about being happy. You can be grateful and still be sad.
Yeah.
You can be grateful and still, feel pain. You can be great, it's not, like we said, it's not positivity. It's not happiness. Yeah. It's a different, it's a whole different experience. And it is something that, comes more naturally to some, and that some need to work a little bit more on.
Yeah.
And like you said, religion was a big part for us in our upbringing and how we learned to practice it. Doesn't mean that's the only way. Again, there's nature's a big one. Getting out in nature is a great reminder of how vastly small we really are in this, and how vastly small our problems are. Especially, I love going out at night, looking at the stars. I mean, talk about a great reminder of
just how utterly insignificant we are. Someone posted a meme recently, and it was literally of the Milky Way galaxy, and there was this arrow pointing, and it's like, you are here, having your political debate or whatever with your friend, and it's like, again, in this massive amount of matter and magnificence of the organization of our entire universe.
And that's why I love nature. I always find my spiritual connection in nature, because it's just sort of that reminder of, this is the same energy. This is what we all came from. This is life.
The leaves. We're in this beautiful time of year where the leaves are changing, and it's like, we didn't coordinate that. We didn't have to do anything to it.
It was going to happen whether we
woke up that morning or not. And it's going to keep happening thousands of years from now. That just automatic, a beautiful organizational intelligence that's just programmed into this life that we have, and, the entire universe that, that's just there, and it happens. And the beauty of that is just amazing. Yeah. And, here we are. And again, I think we get, as human beings, we get so egotistical sometimes, like, oh yeah, we're gonna change. I knew I was gonna offend someone on this.
Careful where you're going.
But again, we're gonna change it. Again, it's this idea of, we're gonna try and eliminate a virus. We're gonna try and change the entire course of the planet's temperature change. Like, I understand there are things that we can do, but to think that we have a massive significant, I think we just get so egotistical as humanity, as to what we can change. And it's like, if we can just be in our blessings and in what we experience each and every day, that stuff starts to melt away.
So with gratitude, again, it's there's lots of different ways to practice it. It doesn't have to be through prayer. Like I said, it can be getting out into nature. It can be, doing journaling. There's all kinds of gratitude journals, or it's just, get a blank piece of paper and each day jot down a couple things. Make that, your practice in the morning or at the end of the day, kind of make it part of your routine. That's one of the benefits, actually, is people that practice a gratitude journal have better quality sleep. So again, just kind of putting yourself into that, positive, peaceful mindset before sleep can really help, especially if you're somebody who tends to lie awake at night and ruminate or do the lists or worry about, everything that happened that day or worry about what you have to do the next day. Kind of getting into that practice of, ending your day on a grateful note can really, really help with that parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest.
Healing.
Yes, the healing part of the nervous system kick in and let you actually fall into that deep, restful sleep. And again, we talked about, sleep. I talk about it all the time, how important that is. So you tell me anything to help improve sleep, I'm gonna do my best to do it, because there's so many things we can't control. So why not do what you can with the things that you can control and to help improve that.
I've had people that, and I've heard people like Wayne Dyer, who has since passed, but I remember in several of his talks, he would speak to the people who wake up the same time every night, and it's almost like a clock for them, it's like, 3 o'clock in the morning. And, some people, I have recommended, again, I've heard this from other people who practice this, is what is going on? What are your thoughts? What is going through your head at that time? Because maybe, spiritually someone is trying to speak to you, and write down what is going through your head. And, I can tell you that, there's probably quite a few books and volumes of books that have been written at that, 2-3 o'clock in the morning hour. But, if you're the type of person that's waking up every night or can't fall asleep lying awake, it's like, put your thoughts down, And if you're not a writer, I'm not a big, journaling, write stuff out. I have tried to do it at different points in my life, but it's not something that I've practiced or ritualized. But, maybe it's just something about, turn on your recorder on your phone and just start talking, talking to yourself is not crazy.
Maybe go to a different room so you don't freak your partner or something another out. Because if I hear talking in the 3 a.m, I'm getting a little concerned. But
get up and be courteous to those who are sleeping around you. But
and again, there's visual ways. Again, that's what's so nice too. Because again, we talked about this overabundance. Well, there's an overabundance of gratitude resources out there. So you could literally go online and type in, gratitude journal or visual. So there's ones for people who I've had clients that found one that it's laid out. I'm more of like just give me the line paper and let me write. But some people, again, kind of need that visual. So it's more like, draw something or put, almost like sticker books for adults kind of things, just to kind of have that visual. Go back to the old school days of, cutting things out of magazines or, taking pictures and printing out those pictures and making yourself a gratitude board, something, or gratitude wall, kind of, taking pictures of things that, again, just kind of maybe that you see every day, and that as that reminder of stopping and appreciating, I just moved recently, and there's this one tree that I never noticed before. And this year, it was just this beautiful red tree that I got to see out of my dining room window every morning this fall. And it's every morning I would just sit there and just stare at it while I was having my coffee. And it was just absolutely breathtaking. And just, that was just one of those things where it's like, oh, wow, I drive past that tree all the time. I've lived in the same area for years, but because it was just literally right there framed in my window, it was a new thing to be grateful for and appreciate. And just kind of being open to that, again, being open to those little things that can kind of start to have that profound impact on you.
But I think that's a good point, though. We talked in a previous episode about change and adaptation. And so here's a constant. That tree has been a constant in your life, but your perspective wasn't you hadn't noticed it, you hadn't recognized it before. So by changing your perspective, you now recognize that. So, we've had conversations with, people who are in a difficult job situation. And we've had a number of people who have left a career to the betterment of their health and well-being because they recognize that the environment was unable. It was not unable, because you can have gratitude anywhere, but it made it more difficult. It was an obstacle. It was a barrier to being able to fully experience the gratitude, the wellness, the abundance in their life. And so when they left that environment, it's the same thing with the abusive relationship. Some people are in a very abusive relationships, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. And again, they only know, that of what they're experiencing in the moment. So it makes it very difficult. The unknown, they're afraid. And again, we are all wired like this to some extent. We're afraid of the unknown. They're in survival mode in that relationship, and they are surviving. And so, they recognize it as, even though it's an abusive, it may be a safe place. The unknown is unsafe. And so, but it's until they get out of that environment, and change that perspective, that's when healing can start to take place, because the perspective has changed. Someone who's been in a difficult situation, whether it's hoarding or just the physical environment of their home. Maybe there was an abusive relationship that they are out of, but the physical location of their house is still such that there are memories and emotions tied to the location, and so they need need to move. There's so much in being able to change that perspective that can help to amplify, the gratitude and the recognition of,
and vice versa. I think by practicing gratitude, it can help you see the situations that maybe you just need a different mindset and maybe you need to actually remove yourself from. Because again, there's always, there's always times that jobs are stressful. I mean, we love what we do. It doesn't mean that there's not days that what was that the other day? We're like, oh my gosh, is it time to go? Yeah. I mean, we all have those days, but, knowing that, with an active practice of gratitude actually improves psychological health. So it can reduce toxic emotions. It can reduce feelings of like envy, resentment, regret, things like that. So if you have this active practice of gratitude, and then you can go home and kind of reflect on, again, what you're grateful for, that can also give you the opportunity to reflect on your work environment, without all of those kind of toxic, angry, resentful, aggressive feelings, and really from just an actual, calmer place, come to the conclusion. Because again, if you come home and go, I hate my job, I'm going to quit, like, that's probably not the time you should quit your job when you're in that heightened state of.
Correct.
But if you can come home and go, okay, here's everything I'm grateful for in life. Nothing about my job is making that list. In fact, there's things from my job that are inhibiting me from enjoying the time with, the time doing the things that I'm grateful for, or that's putting me into a negative mental or emotional state that I'm not able to enjoy these things. And it's, it's directly impacting my ability to grow and be healthy and happy. If you can kind of do that from a calm, rational place, then that could be a good time to make that decision. Because if you're kind of constantly in that, toxic overdrive, stress point, and then that carries into the other aspects of your life, you can only run, like you mentioned, survival mode. I mean, you can only run in survival mode for so long.
Yes, until burnout happens.
So being able to kind of, again, have that practice to help your overall psychological state so that you can better process, like, okay, what is it about work? Is it something that's going to change, or is it something that's not? And is it something that I need to change? Yep. And like you said, same thing with relationships, same thing with anything in life. Is it, what is it? Is it the situation that needs to change? Is it your attitude that needs to change? Is it a combination of the two? What is it? And the more calm and collected that you can be when making those decisions in the long run, the better off it's going to be. Because yes, we always joke that we've talked too many people into quitting their jobs, which of course we have not. We just, again, I think people start to come and feel better, they're physically getting better working with you. They start working with me on some of the other, changes to their lifestyle, and they just start realizing that, if I'm just stressed about work 24/7, it's directly impacting my health. And I agree. We can't, you can't be in that state 24/7. And I personally don't think there's any job that's worth that. So that might just be my, again, not a medical opinion, personal opinion.
Personal experience. Yes. And she's not talking about her current job. I hope not.
But yeah, so just, really wanted to touch on it. Just think people kind of need that reminder sometimes. We are heading into the holiday season, which can be a time of joy, but also I think, again, anymore can become more and more a time of stress if we get pulled too much into the materialistic side of it, and forget about all of the other things. So I know the holidays used to be an incredibly stressful time for me, because we're kind of the same way. We don't like giving gifts. We're not gift people. And so this whole...
No, I just like to, I like to spend time with family.
Yeah, exactly. And I think once our family got away from that whole gift getting thing, and realized that, it's made the holidays much more enjoyable for everybody. And I think, again, it's just... now is the time to really start, remembering these things, because we're about to head into that time where it's going to get stressful, and it's, we always post a blog around the holiday seasons of how to get through the holiday stress. So keep an eye out for that, or you can even go back and look up old ones from past years on our website. But yeah, that's I think now every day should be a day of gratitude. But now I think as we're heading into the not today. Today's gorgeous, but we will be heading into the darker,
daylight savings time,
colder times, and again, getting in that habit now of practicing that gratitude can really help get you through the times that you might not be looking forward to as much.
Yeah, and if you are again, if you're struggling to find those areas of in your life that you could be grateful for, I always. Or I recommend that you break your life down into the different areas of life. Look at physical, look at spiritual, look at biochemical, mental, emotional. Look at financial, career, career, business, relationship, familial. Look at the different areas of your life, and just start and find one thing. What's the one thing in every area of your life that you are grateful for? And again, some people are very well practiced at this. And if you find yourself having difficulty with it, then find I could guess that all of us know of someone who maybe lives that life through rose-colored glasses, or they always seem to be the calm in the midst of a stressful situation. Go and spend time with them and ask them their views on life, and how they do it, and what they do, and just being around that can help to open up the possibility of gratitude. But you can be grateful for anything, starting with the breath, that you woke up on the on the top 6 feet, not the bottom 6 feet of the ground, so you woke up on the right side of the bed. So, start there and just dive in, because I know being grateful has truly been impactful and has changed my life for the better, and we know that it can for you as well. So, absolutely. And don't do it wait till Thanksgiving. Start now.
Yeah, exactly.
But so I'm Dr. Dan.
I'm Angela. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
We're so grateful.
We are so grateful
that you tuned into this episode.
Check out our website if you want to check out any other podcast episodes or any other resources. Turo, Turo, familychiropractic.com. We have lots of information, blogs, access to our, not just the chiropractic end, but all the lifestyle ends as well. And again, current patients, remember that you can always make an appointment with me. This is part of what we can work through and talk about and figure out what might be the best gratitude practice for you in your life. So thank you guys so much. We will see you next time.
See you at the next What the Health podcast. Bye-bye now.
You've been listening to What the Health with Dr. Dan and Angela Toro, brought to you by Toro Family Chiropractic. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.whatthehealth.world.